Hey, what's up, guys? This is Brian from Whisper Status 74. A little bit of TCL news from their press conference, which happened yesterday. But these press conferences are all happening kind of at the same time, so we're trying to keep up with them as much as we can. They announced many LEDs, 8K, and some other stuff we'll go over. But what I'm most excited for with existing TCL clients, or customers, I should say, is something I wish a lot of the companies would do. TCL will enable variable refresh rates for some TVs later this year, meaning existing TVs. It also partner with THX on a new game mode. TCL plans to release new software upgrades for some TVs that can make them better for gaming and make it easier to manage your home audio setup, the company announced. Here we go. Later this year, TCL will enable variable refresh rates, which will sync the frame rate of your TV to what's intended by the game. We know that's what VRR means. The update is slated for this spring, and it should arrive for select 2019 TCL Roku TV 6 series models and select 2020 high-performance TVs. So, I'm not sure this update will update the 2020 as they release, or it'll come engaged already. We do like to have the displays have that stuff, the brand new ones, out of the box instead of waiting for updates like we've seen with Sony and Dolby Vision and things of that nature. But it is exciting to see that they're going to go back and update the 2019 TCL 6 series or selected versions of it with VRR, which is pretty cool because some of you have stated that the 6 series has some issues with some motion in gaming, which would make sense why they're addressing it. And, you know, this THX new game, we talked about this yesterday with LG and a lot of the marketing with THX and Dolby Vision X and all these different things. So we'll see how that shows up, but it's exciting to see them go back. And they had mentioned in the press conference about TVs evolving through updates, you know, meaning kind of from 2019 going forward, they will be looking to update their displays to make them more modern versus just doing OS updates. You know, here's some marketing here. THX certified game mode delivers fast response time and the most optimal viewing experience online games. They had Infinity Ward up there talking about it. So it's interesting how they bring in Infinity Ward and, you know, they bring in Christopher Nolan for LG. It's always kind of been that way. Here we go. TCL also says that later this year, Roku is expected to let select 2019 TCL Roku TVs take advantage of HDMI ERC, sorry, it's about 4:30 in the morning, part of the HDMI 2.1 standard. That should make managing your entertainment easier. Kind of mean they're going to give you a pseudo 2.1 experience on your HDMI 2.0 displays, which is pretty cool if they're able to do that. Which kind of reminds me of LG kind of forcing the NVIDIA cards to give you HDMI 2.1 love with 4K 120 hertz through 120 FPS, I'm sorry, through the HDMI. That's only HDMI 2.0 on your graphics cards. So they're looking to update some of this stuff. I wish that many other manufacturers would do the same thing. It'll be interesting to see if that's real or a pseudo version of it. But for those of you that just bought TVs in 2018, 2019, it'd be nice to see some of this stuff updated. VRR is a nice thing to have as it makes for a much smoother experience on console, as there is no real VSync unless it's enabled by the developer. To have tear-free gaming, I mean, to give you an example, the Modern Warfare on Xbox One X does have noticeable tearing on the Xbox One X. That'd be nice to have that just go away. Samsung already has this. We'll go with some of the other news as far as displays they'll be having. TCL's 8K Roku TV should come out this year. It's interesting when you see the difference between the brands like Vizio and TCL. Even their press conferences or their show conferences aren't quite as elegant as, say, companies that have been doing it forever, such as Sony, Samsung, and LG, should come out this year is not something people want to hear when they're talking about what TV should I buy. TCL, they're talking a lot about the mini LED, which is here. VidRain. That's how you pronounce it. Mini LED. 8K TV sets that would fall under its 8 series line, which confusingly also includes some 4K sets. TCL's had that issue with the different versions of the 6 series, having them be very close to each other. We'd also like to see some different numbers that clearly delineate one from the other. We saw that with the Vizio M series and the M8, making it very hard in store for many of us to figure out which ones we're purchasing. So here we go. Roughly 12 months ago, TCL said it was working with Roku on 8K TV sets that would fall under its 8 series line, which confusingly also includes some 4K HDR sets in the US. They were supposed to come out in 2019, but obviously that didn't happen. TCL reiterated that these models are still on the way. TCL intends to launch its TVs in North America this year that will exceed the high standards established as part of the 8K Association Certified Program. I love all these associated programs that some companies are part of and some are not. In the future, TCL TVs will ship with a new form of mini LED technology, not to be confused with micro LED, called VidRain. VidRain, the company says its first TV backlight with driving semiconductor circuitry and tens of thousands of this is all, again, marketing. Who knows what any of that means. They can just keep throwing that stuff right up. What I mean by that is just throwing around a lot of the market. That's not TCL, actually. It's just watching all these press conferences. It's so much of just them talking about this, tens of thousands of micrometer cleaning. It's, show me. Let's see it. Let's talk about it. Let's see what it does in store. Obviously, the mini LEDs are exciting. Micro LED is very exciting. The mini LEDs were very, very interesting to give you those OLED blacks with a very bright display, crushing the blacks, the algorithm, again, lack of elegance. We're looking for, crushing the blacks to that degree that we saw with the mini LEDs last year. Is not something that I would purchase personally. If the algorithm doesn't get fixed, hopefully they can actually address that and not just abandon that as a, first effort. So we will see there. So they will have, their own lineup, their typical lineup. But again, like many others, they're looking at 8K, HDMI 2.1, EARC on their outputs. They did a lot of phone stuff. But with, TCL, we'd like to see also, deliver things in the right year. Hopefully, it just makes it difficult for people that are purchasing displays. If you're not going to have your stuff overlap into the next year, or release like the mini LEDs in October when the rest of the TV lineups are finished, pretty much. So you don't want that kind of overlap. While everyone else is looking to purchase displays, later in the fall, or, now, as we're in January, you just release your display, your brand new one with the new technology later in the fall, which makes it difficult for a lot of people to figure out if they should purchase now or wait. It's kind of like a, mid-calendar model. It's, it's when cars release in a late 2019 model when everyone else is delivering their 2020 models. So that's where you need to be a little better about delivering all your stuff on time, so customers know if they're buying, if you just bought a mini LED, a few months ago or early fall, I would feel a little bit messed up about, brand new 8K mini LEDs. 65-inch, 75-inch. So interesting, not ground-shattering. What I thought from the press conference that was the best was going back with this THX game mode for older TCL displays. Older meaning 2019, which is basically new. But we're dealing with obsolescence, guys, with TVs. The minute they manufacture any technology, the minute it's manufactured, is obsolete. As we know, that's not in a bad way, it's just the way they're built. But it's nice to know that at least they'll go back to the last version, which also shows you they're doing this overlap, you know, where they can still go back because it's the same technology for them. They can go back and alter HDMI 2.0 to give you the pseudo HDMI 2.1 effect. Looking forward to seeing at the end of the wrap to see some of these displays. Hopefully I will be there next year in person to actually see these things on the floor. I have plans to go there with my wife next year, which will be very, very interesting to show you guys this stuff on the floor. But that's a quicker video for TCL. What do you think of TCL? Are you excited to see what they're doing? It's nice to see these little companies again compete and offer some innovation. I would like, actually more so, you know, even seeing the Vizio here next to me, which has really come leaps and bounds over the years, by the way, is to continue with their elegance, to continue with, yes, 8K is awesome, to go that way because everybody else is going that way. And I know you have to go that way because the most common client or customer is going to want to know why they're buying a 4K TV if 8K is right next to them. I completely understand that. But I really want to see better, you know, product, you know, quality assurance. I do want to see better, you know, screens, less dirty screen effect, less screen problems for all of these companies, Hisense, TCL, and Vizio. I want to see more of that. You know, focus on that. Like I said with LG's NanoCell, focus more on, instead of making the NanoCell 4K, or 8K, instead of making these things 8K, try and master your 4K and your backlight and the way things look, your motion, 120 hertz panels. I'd love to see, I'm sure these are. I haven't seen actual specs of anything. It was kind of vague, but I'm sure that'll be out in the next couple days. But for me, the big news is going back and updating the 2019 models. And, you know, they're again continuing with mini LED, and it's going to be 8K. Now, I'm not sure if they're going to continue with mini LED at 4K, because that would be cost effective. Maybe last year's mini LED, but I don't know about that. This is just a quick video on what I saw. A lot of phones and stuff like that. It looks like they're definitely getting into that market. Some of their phones were $500 for, you know, Galaxy Note 10 Plus kind of specs, which is pretty cool. Not a big phone guy, but you know, looks like it's, again, you know, trying to figure out what is true, what is just marketing hype. But saying they're going to take care of their customers is definitely a great step, and you will gain a very loyal following if you're buying, you know, this, you know, more mid-priced value brands. If they're taking care of their customers that way, that's big news in itself. All right, guys, that's my TCL little wrap-up. At the end of CES, we'll go back and we'll cover what we missed, and we'll talk about it in the comments. I know I'm cannibalizing my own content before I can even get any views on things. I'm putting out new videos, but that's okay. That's the way we're doing it here. You know, putting out 3 videos a day. Thank you, as always, for all the support. If you're new to the community, welcome to the community. If you're watching for the first time, please like and subscribe. Join this community. It's a very positive group with very thoughtful comments, and it's a knowledgeable group. All right, guys, have a great day. I will see you later. We will talk a little bit about Sony's press conference later in the day. Right now, like I said, it's about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, and I will talk to you later. That's why I'm so gravelly voiced, and this video is a little all over the place. All right, guys, have a great day. Take care.